It's real, the mic stays warm. Hosted by the dad with lots of charm. Insights are sharp and data's tight. The lens already and the jokes online. Hot takes, real talk, keeping it true. From high school halls to podcast cues, live a little, learn a lot. Turn it up, this show is hot. Grab your coffee and let's get into it. No filter, no fluff, just real talk. Let's do it. Ready or not, here we go. It's time for Muffin to start the show.
Welcome to Hot Takes with the Murphman. Today we have episode 36, The Comparison Trap. Your race, your pace. Stop measuring your behind the scenes against everyone else's highlight reel because it's stealing your focus. I am the Murphman. I'm here with my co-host Connor. How are we doing today, Connor?
Doing good today, Murphman. How are we doing today?
Doing really, really good. It's been a good day. You know that?
It has.
It has, right?
It really has, yeah.
We got to be able to do a lot of things, and it's about a month and a half left till summer vacation for me.
A month and a half?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. You know, what are we going to do over the summer? I have no idea, but we're definitely going to have some fun, right?
Yes, always.
You know, this episode, you guys, I want you to know is we're going a little astray from our schedule because I wanted to bring this up because a lot of people are really talking about influencers and they want to make it big on TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff, right? And I wanted to address that a little bit. So I decided to just step away from college for 1 week and we're going to talk about this. And I do want to say, you know, our show here, we do discuss whatever pops into our head. And I do mean whatever.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
But sometimes, you know, we tend to get a little heated and we, you know, might let some adult language come out. And if we do, we're sorry. We probably will minimize it, but, you know, it doesn't really happen too often. And remember, we're not experts. We're just here giving our own opinions and on life experiences and what the knowledge we have. Right, Connor?
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
I think it's time we ignite the fuse.
Sounds good.
Stop watching their life and start building yours. Comparison is a thief of joy, but in the digital age is the thief of the future. Don't let your filtered image distract you from your real world progress. And this episode is about shifting your focus from the person in the next lane to the finish line in your fuse is lit. Connor, let's get this show started. So what do you think about that? This episode that we're going to be doing today. What are your takes on influencers and all the stuff involved with that?
I think personally that this is a good topic to be talking about because a lot of people I know, especially me, myself, compare like ourselves to other people that are more successful at our age, that are doing better than us. So we tend to try to get up to standard with them.
Right.
And it's kind of a bad habit because we don't have whatever they have. Like we don't have the resources that they have. Because I mean, if we did, then we wouldn't be comparing ourselves.
Well, even then, you know, there's people that have money and they have everything they need and they still think it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then when we have like, I don't know if you know the story about cars in Saudi Arabia.
No.
The license plates. Their status symbol is the lowest number on your license plate.
Mm.
So like they'll pay millions of dollars for like the number 3. Okay, because that's what their status symbol is. And when you go to like the United Arab Emirates or Saudi Arabia or some of those countries, they literally have supercars just stranded on the side of the road. They just leave them. That's kind of wealthy. I think it's too much.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine having so much money that you can just blow off half $500,000. Crazy, right?
I would love for that.
You know, they say money can't solve our problems, but I'll tell you what, it can sure make our life a lot better, you know.
Yeah.
As we talk about this, I want you to think about how you compare to other people. And there's a lot of ways we do that. So keep that in mind, and I want to go ahead and jump into the burning question. And today's burning question is, your self-worth is being hacked by the algorithm, and we're diving into psychology of how we rank ourselves in a world of infinite filters. Is your self-worth based on your progress or just standing in the feed? So think about that. And the question today is, what is upward social comparison? Is it comparing yourself to someone you perceive as worse off? Comparing yourself to someone you perceive as better? Comparing yourself to your past self, or ignoring others to focus on your own goals? What do you think it might be, Connor?
I think it's B, comparing yourself to someone you perceive as better.
It is. You know, while downward comparison can give you a temporary ego boost, it's only temporary. It's not going to last long. And upward comparison usually leads to feelings of inadequacy, like you were saying earlier.
Mm.
And a lot of times it becomes a mental fire you don't want to fuel.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I think about success, okay, like I said, you know, there's just, some people have money. That's the way it is. Okay. You, me, myself, and your cousins all get together, right? And we talk and we dream of what the future could be, right? And do you remember what each person would want to do back then?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Well, one would want to open a gymnastics class. One would open up a jewelry class. One would want to open up a dance class. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I would open up my bar. In the same parking lot, I'd have my car wash.
Mm-hmm.
Not like the Mr. Car Wash. I'm talking about the quarters where you clean it yourself.
Yeah.
And I'd also have a daycare.
Okay.
Why would I have a daycare?
I don't know.
Because all my employees can leave their kids there for free.
Oh.
That can save hundreds to a couple $1,000s for some people. And that would be a perk for working for me. How cool is that?
I mean, it sounds cool.
It does, right? In theory.
Yeah, in theory.
You know, but do you think we want to do this because we all want to be famous and everything? No.
Mm.
You know, well,
some part, yeah.
In some part, really?
I mean, who wouldn't?
Well, I don't think of it as doing it to become famous or celebrity.
Well, it's not the main reason, but it's a reason. Because you would want to be famous also.
No, I would like to have people participate in the things I'm doing in the bar. I think that would just be awesome. Have people enjoy the show.
And to get social followers and networking and all that.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be for fame. Just like this podcast isn't for fame.
But that technically is for fame. If you think about it.
Okay, let me ask you a serious question.
Okay.
Let me ask you a serious question. If for some reason we became famous in this podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we get picked up and we become syndicated and become a national show, would you still have your regular life?
I don't know.
Would you want to do this every day, or would you want to do it just once a week?
Once a week.
But if we get picked up, we'd have to do it every day.
No.
And it wouldn't be an educational thing. It would just be a discussion thing.
We don't have to do it every day.
Well, I'm saying if we get picked up, that's what we'd be getting paid for. That would be our job.
Do it every day, though.
But if we get it picked up, that's what we do. That becomes what they're paying us for. And we have to do this every day.
Well, no, it's not a daily job. We get picked up for doing it once a week. Might as well just keep doing it once a week.
Well,
or maybe 2 times a week, not every day. Well, then we don't have enough content to cover for a long time.
That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be educational like it is now. It would just be us talking. about everything.
But we talk about a lot in one day. What are we gonna talk about for a whole week?
And
If
after,
we're just sitting there for every day, we have almost nothing to talk about,
right?
since we don't have the whole day to talk about.
So it
We
becomes
spend like 4 hours technically each day doing this, everything about it
Yeah.
as a job.
talking to each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, there's a price of fame, and to do shows like this and have to do them every day, the fun becomes a job and it's no longer fun. We hate people. I say we just in general, not you and me, but we hate people who don't have to work. They get money from investments, that'd be great, or they get it from their family, right? And they don't have to work. We envy them. And is there anything wrong with that?
No.
No. There's nothing wrong with envying somebody a little bit. But if you make that your goal in life, to be that person, to walk and talk and dress and act and everything like that person, that's a little too extreme.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you and I, we're not, and I'll say this again, you and I are not brand name shoppers, right?
Mm-mm.
Our clothes, generic clothes. We don't like worry about what's on the label or what kind of patch we have up here on our shoulder or whatever, right?
Sometimes.
You worry about that?
Design, yes.
Really?
Yes, it's designed for a reason.
So you wish you could wear designer clothes?
I got non-designer clothes, but shirts with designs on them.
Oh no, I'm talking about like Ralph Lauren or Polo have that logo on their shirt, or Izod the little alligator.
I mean, it looks nice.
Yeah, but we don't worry about that stuff. No,
Not worry, but I'm getting more into clothing, so.
Okay.
So yeah, I know you wear the same like shirts every day, so.
Well, not the same shirt. Let's make this very clear.
Same
You mean
type of
polo
shirts?
shirts? Yeah, polo shirts and
same
t-shirts.
type of shirts.
Yeah.
Polo buttons, your jerseys.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, you have a problem with me wearing my jersey so often.
Yeah, you need more clothes.
I do not need more clothes.
To go and wear out? Yes.
No, I don't.
I swear to God, I feel like half your closet is untouched now. Because all you wear is your jerseys.
No. I have enough clothes to last me over a month. Work clothes and casual clothes. I wear a shirt to work and I take it off and I put on a t-shirt when we're done. When we go out. Have you ever noticed that? I don't wear the same shirt for work.
Sometimes you do.
But it's not a thing I do regularly.
I mean,
and I don't shop brand names or nothing like that. I just buy whatever I want.
Yeah.
Okay. And I laugh, and as I say this, I told you that, I laugh about this. I'm wearing Gucci glasses right now, right?
Yeah.
Why do I have Gucci glasses? Because when we went to go get our glasses, the insurance covered a really good pair of glasses. And the people at the desk were like, hey, you want to try Gucci? I was like, sure. And actually, they fit me pretty nice. And I think I look pretty good in them.
Yeah, you do.
But I'm not wearing it because, it's Gucci. I got to wear Gucci. Now, we're going to have an appointment next month to go get our eyes examined and get some new glasses, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to get Gucci's again?
I don't know. Are you?
I like them. And they're actually very well made. I haven't had any issues with them at all. So, maybe I'll just be wearing Gucci.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to catch me wearing anything else Gucci. I just don't believe in spending that kind of money because we don't make that kind of money.
Exactly.
And that's why I said, like, a little bit of envy for people like celebrities that can just buy stupid stuff. If I had money, I'd want to do something where we are able to go out and buy what we need and help others maybe, or that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, let's get into the heart of this and talk about today's hot take. you aren't losing the race. You're just distracted by someone else's trophy. Think about that. What's your favorite car, Connor?
The Corvette.
Every time you see a Corvette, you're like, oh, Corvette. Right?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. You drool when you see a Corvette.
I wouldn't say drool. Hold on. Wait.
You have to go like this every time you see a Corvette, Connor.
No, I just don't swallow my saliva. Not because of Corvette. It just happens.
It just happens.
Every time.
Like, have you ever been talking and just like a drool just falls out of your mouth for no reason?
Yeah, it literally happened right now.
Okay. Anyway, remember, every minute you spend envying their day 500 is a minute you steal from your own day 1. Someone who's successful, they've been working at it for a while. You can't just compare yourself to them. You know what I mean? You got to be happy and with yourself. That's the most important thing, I think. All right. Comparison is a trap, and it keeps you paralyzed while the world moves forward. So here's my hot take for today. Comparison is a distraction from your own potential. If you're busy watching their lane, you're going to crash in yours. Ooh. Makes sense, right? Yeah. I really do like that saying. I'll tell you that truthfully, because it makes you really realize what you have going on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Live your life. Don't let what other people do influence you that way. It's not worth it at all.
Or else you're going to crash and burn.
You're going to crash and burn. I want to talk about those definitions that we're going to cover so that you can have the context you need to understand the topic better. And we'll do that right after the break.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at MB Radio.
According to the VA's suicide data report, an average of 22 veterans die by suicide every single day. This figure is a sobering reality and a crisis that demands our immediate attention and compassion. We must recognize and address the fact that every 24 hours, 22 veterans are losing their lives to suicide. The war doesn't always end when our veterans come home. The invisible wounds they carry, wounds that are real and heavy, require continuous support. No veteran should have to carry this burden alone. Many veterans experience stress and disconnection as they navigate life after service. But there is hope, there is help, and you are not alone in this fight. There's a vibrant community ready to support you, offering friendship, understanding, and shared experiences. You served your country, now let us serve you. Don't fight the toughest battle in silence. Your mission now is to reach out. Dial 988, then press 1. Text them at 838255. The Veterans Crisis Line is available 24/7. Every day, we save lives. Your life is invaluable, and your service is honored. Let's work together to make 22-0 again. No veteran should face their struggles alone. Together, we can ensure every veteran finds the support and hope they deserve.
He gets help, but he still feels off. Sees an ad on the TV about a dog batting said, this is a man's best friend. Whoa, so he goes one day and he picks it up. Never thought a dog could bring so much love and put a smile on his face. He's finally found a saving grace. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free. Put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can to make 22-0 again.
All right, welcome back to the show. But before we get back to the show, we want to pause for something that matters. I was inspired by Ryan Spencer's song Make 22 Zero Again, which refers to veterans taking their lives 22 times a day. I want that to go down. And it has been going down over time. I think we're down to like 18 people a day now. So that says a lot, but it's not enough. I want to remind you that help is always available 24/7, 365 by dialing 988 and pressing 1, or you can text 838-255. There will always be someone ready to listen to you. So remember, you're not alone. And that's, a little announcement I'd like to make. And I got to tell you, Ryan Spencer is someone, if you get a chance to hear the whole song, Make 22 Zero Again, do it. It's a really cool song. But I'll tell you, our hot take is out there, and now it's time to build a foundation. We're going to give you those key definitions so that you can get on board with us on what we're talking about in our segment, Laying Down the Coals. Here in the Laying Down the Coals segment, we give you the key definitions and context you need to understand the topic for today. Define the race before you run it. All right. First thing we got to do is talk about a highlight reel, the curated, filtered, and often fake version of reality designed for likes. The gap, the painful space between where you are and where the algorithm says you should be. And last but not least, your digital footprint, the permanent tattoo of your online interactions that colleagues and employers use to judge your character versus your curated image. So let's talk about that. Okay. Highlight reel. Connor, you like sports?
Yeah.
If you had to do, I know you didn't play too long, but if you were trying to get into, say, college football right now, and I asked you, give me your highlight reel of your football career, what are some things you think of?
Well, I mean, the only thing would be my fumble recovery, the onside kick, my tackle for loss, interception. That's it. I didn't really do much. I didn't really have any
You
highlight reels. I got some tackles.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
No, I mean, you weren't bad.
But when I played, yeah.
I was wondering like what you would have talked about, because you totally miss end zone sports.
Oh, well, I was thinking like high school.
Yeah, you're thinking actual football, not flag football, right? I got to tell you real quick. Connor was younger, and I wanted him to stay in shape and play football. And I want to say it was after COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We started with a league.
During COVID, because it was still 2020, 2021, 2020.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, the thing is, before COVID started, I got you into a city league, and you never even got to play because COVID hit. The Panthers.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
And then End Zone comes out, and there's this flag football league. I'm like, hey, let's try it, Connor. And you're like, okay. And I signed up for it, and they was giving away a free membership. Well, the league was about to start, and I said, hey, we need to pay. So I paid, and then that morning that I paid, I get a phone call from the station that we won the free membership. So they just refunded my money back. But we got into it for free, and we started playing football, right? And they didn't have enough coaches, and they asked me to coach. I have no idea how to coach. I think I did okay. Not bad, not good, just okay. They take us to the championship, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of like 8 teams we had.
Yeah. Yeah, in our conference, we had the 8 teams.
Like 8 or 10, yeah.
And I got to the champ. We were undefeated.
Yeah, we were.
But do you remember? Do you remember the time we played the team that was completely defeated every game? They had not won a single game.
Yeah.
And I said, this game, we are not going to try and score. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I said,
we should let them score at least.
Well, no.
Yeah, you said you were like, we should not try as hard as we do, but we should let them have fun also. So we should get them some points.
Well, maybe they'll get some points
Like
because they haven't been able to get
interceptions or let
anything.
them go past.
Yeah. And I said, everybody gets to play whatever position they want to. So you had the bigger kids playing quarterback, right?
Yeah.
You had people who got to be wide receivers or whatever. And we weren't even trying, Connor, and we beat them 40-0.
Yeah.
But do you remember what's so special about that game for me?
What?
You scored 27 of those 40 points.
Yeah. I feel bad though. I feel so bad.
No.
I remember the routes I ran, and it just
Well, the thing is, we didn't have a regular quarterback at quarterback. Okay,
we had a receiver.
yeah, just
as a
someone
quarterback. Yeah.
but he's not used to being a quarterback.
Well,
And then you were the
did, bro.
receiver,
Yeah.
and you caught this ball and you ran it back like 40 yards. Both times were long touchdowns, and then we had to do the extra point, and you got one of those. And then on defense, you ran it back for a touchdown. You had a pick six.
Yeah, I had like 2, I think.
No, it was one pick six. You may have had 2 interceptions, but you had 1 pick six.
Mm.
And the thing is, we weren't even trying.
We weren't. Well, I mean, I was obviously, but it was. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Mind you, this is like 8th grade.
Yeah. No.
Like out of COVID, I was chubby.
Chubby. Shut up.
I ate too like
Shut up.
from 7th grade till 8th grade.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, I gained weight. I'll say that. I was skinny and then I gained some weight.
Yeah, because you were finally eating at home and eating better.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making here is, did we ever think we were like the badass team out there, like we were undefeated?
No.
No.
Yes, but no.
No, we were excited we were undefeated. I mean, there's no.
Oh yeah.
You got to celebrate that.
But we weren't the best. I'll say that.
Hold on. No, we weren't.
We
knew one team was better than us.
Yeah.
And they did beat us in the championship.
They did. But it was a close game though.
It was a close game. And we scored the most points on them than anyone scored all season. So that says something about us, right?
Yeah.
But the reason I'm saying that is because I did not let it get to our head. You know, yeah, we were undefeated, but I didn't want, all right, keep it up. We cannot score. Don't let them score. You never heard me say things like that.
Yeah, no.
I was out there to have fun. And I think that's what made our team so good, was that kids who had never played football had a coach who let them do whatever they wanted to do. No, not really whatever, but I mean, we practiced different positions and everything. If they wanted to try something, we would try it. So that kept it fresh. And we weren't those kids that, oh, look at us, you know, we're so awesome. We knew we weren't the best. We knew we were good.
Yeah.
We just didn't, you know, we knew we weren't the best.
Based on like our team experience, yeah.
Yeah. Everyone else had actually been together for a while. Turns out that
that team grew up together. They all knew each other and
yeah,
all that.
they've been playing football for like 5 years together in different, you know, as the leagues got older.
Yeah. And
So
us, we were just like,
we were a hodgepodge. We were like the little rascals.
yeah. We were like some were experienced, some were not, some were like, you know, have some knowledge. I was below there. I had no experience because I didn't really do much in middle school.
Yeah, you had one year of football under your belt at that point.
Yeah.
But, you know, everybody wants to be that star. And you got to be that star for one day.
One day, one game.
On the day where I told everybody, don't be a star. And you weren't even trying. That's just so funny. Like, they just couldn't cover you. They couldn't, you know what I mean? It's like they just couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I said, we can't score. And I didn't want to go up there and stop at the 1 yard line. You know,
we tried to do that, and we still like accidentally scored. Like we stepped in or something.
You know, but the point being is, we're looking at other people's lives as quarterbacks and receivers and celebrities, and you know what I mean. You want to be that person. Like when you went to Burgess, you know, you followed Aaron Jones. He's a running back in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
He went to your school. There was another player, DeVorce Jones, that ended up going to play in Missouri.
Now he's back here.
Yeah, now he's back. But you had some really good people before you and with you.
Yeah. Like I played with them, yeah.
You know, not Aaron
Not
Rodgers.
with them, but like
Tavares Jones, you did, but not
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Jones. But you had that standard at your school with your coach. You had 6 years running undefeated as co-champions or district champs.
What do you mean 6 years?
Yeah, you were the co-champs or district champs 6 years in a row.
Oh.
You know, so there was some standard that you had to meet.
Yeah.
And
we
what
did
I
that.
think is so funny is even though you guys had that under your belt, there were still two teams that you couldn't beat. Andress and El Dorado. Right?
Yeah. And well, we have other teams that we couldn't beat.
No, those were the two main ones, the 4 years that you were there. Yeah, trust me.
I was gonna say,
I would announce the games.
I was gonna say Chapin was one of them.
No, Chapin was good, but I mean, it was almost even. They may have beat you, but it was almost even.
But not El Dorado.
What do you mean El Dorado?
They're 6A.
Yeah.
We're 5A.
I know.
We only went against them like
during preseason.
One time.
Yeah.
No, that was Eastlake.
Oh, Eastlake.
Yes. I'm like,
Eastlake, sorry.
Yeah, we might have gone against them, but we didn't.
Eastlake is the team I was thinking of. You know.
Yeah.
But you guys had high standards. But it never got to your head. So
well, I never knew that, so no one really told us that we were 6 years running for undefeated. Freshman year, right? Like freshman teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yet we still.
So, and the thing is, you didn't worry about what anyone else did. You guys just played your game. You stayed in your lane.
Yeah.
Right? But when Andress would come on, you'd be like, oh man, we get the pressure of Andress and everything. I don't know why.
It's not. It's because, dude, they were tall.
Yeah, they're big guys.
It looked like we were playing JV.
Like you're the JV playing varsity.
Yeah, but like freshmen playing varsity, I swear to God, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Like JV looked smaller than them. I was like, did they switch? Was JV supposed to play first?
You know, yeah, right.
That was the only team, but that freshman year we did tie for district champs with Andress.
Yeah. So, you know, the thing is, they would beat you, but you beat other people, and, you know, it's all evened out. But you stayed in your lane. You guys didn't let it get to your head or anything. And that's leadership from the coach. The coach has held you to a higher standard, right? But he wasn't saying, come on, you can be Aaron Jones. I don't think he ever said that to you, did he?
No, he never compared us to, like, them.
Right? Just play your own game, stay in your lane, and you're going to be good.
I mean, he didn't mention them, like, after practice, he'd be like, he said this, yada, yada, he did this. But, like, he never really said you got to be like him.
Right.
Just, like, just what he did.
And so could have used him as an example and everything, right?
Yeah.
But
he's in the NFL.
Yeah, he's someone that from your level that went to the NFL. Now, when you think about influencers and social media, if Aaron Jones comes back to El Paso, everyone flocks to him.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone wants to be him. They want to be with him. They want to get to know him and everything. He's a very down-to-earth person. You know, he does charity. He doesn't let it get to his head. He's just a very humble person. So is his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Alvin. Yeah, Alvin Jones. You know, and they're just chill. They're millionaires, but they're chill. Right? Yeah, so, you know, it's okay to look up to them, but you don't try to emulate them and be them. That's what you don't want to do. You know, because we're not that person. Not everyone's going to make it into the NFL. I give you the statistics of people who play. Do you remember the numbers?
No.
Like, how many high schools do you think there are around the country?
Like, when you say country, you mean El Paso?
No, that's the city.
Well, then country.
Country's the USA.
Oh. Oh, I was thinking county. My bad.
Yeah. No, I know what you were thinking.
I would think like 7,000 schools, maybe.
Okay, let's just say 7,000.
Yeah.
And how many seniors graduate on the team every year? Give it just
8,
just average. All right.
7.
Let's do even number 10.
Okay, 10.
So that's 70,000 seniors going into college positions. Now there's 200 schools. How many new rookies come on to a college team?
I don't know.
Let's see, 15 to 20. All right. So 20 times 200 is now 4,000. Right? Then you have 32 football teams in the NFL. And to get to the NFL, they get 20 people a year, maybe. New to the roster, 15, 10. So from that 4,000, only 300 make it into the NFL every year.
Damn.
Starting from 70,000 high school students. And these are just made up numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but just think about the ratio of who actually does get to that level. So when you want to compare yourself to somebody and you want to say this person is somebody I want to be like, that's the exception to the rule. And you're trying to be something that's very hard to be,
Yeah.
Think about that as we talk about Marcus in our story from the fire today. Looking sideways is a recipe for a crash. Remember I told you about horse blinders? They keep the horse focus going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus was a creator who quit before he started because he couldn't stop looking at the pros. Watch how comparing his day 1 to their day 1,000 turned a talent for design into a mountain of self-doubt. The moment he muted the noise, stopped checking the feed, and finally started winning his own race was when he started succeeding. So it's very important to remember that. Again, people who've been doing it are the exception to the rule, and we're not perfection. We are not. And you got to be who you want to be. Doing this podcast, have I ever told you I want to be like this person? That's not even how this podcast started.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Being on Stream 915 and military broadcast radio, it's really cool that we get seen nationwide. Our videos get thousands of views, with military broadcast radio, like 70,000, I think, every week. We're on Roku. Yeah. But that's not why we do this. We don't make any money from it. Okay, it goes to the company, not us. That's why I like Stream 915, because we actually can make money on that one, because it comes straight to us. But today I met some people, and I was saying about the studio and everything, and all the things we're doing. And, when someone says, like, what made you want to do this? Oh, I don't know. It just started as a thing going to my friend's house, using her room until she kicked us out because her mom was moving in to our studio, which is going to be upgraded soon. And hopefully, we keep doing well like we are right now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So think about Marcus and think about yourself and realize, hey, it doesn't really matter what other people do. Okay?
All right.
Now, I will tell you this. It's one thing to envy somebody and want to be like them. That's okay. But you need to have a plan. And let's talk about that in today's heat map. Chart your own course to the finish line. You want to audit your feed, mute every account that triggers less than feelings instead of inspiration. Okay. If you have a friend that is posting stuff and, all this fancy stuff and everything, and it makes you feel bad, why do you want to keep that person as a friend online, right? Get rid of them. They don't need to be there. Record your wins. Keep a daily brag file of personal progress to prove to yourself that you are moving forward. All right. You got to be able to brag. You're very humble, Connor.
Oh.
But you got to be able to brag.
Okay.
And define your metric. Choose one goal that has nothing to do with social media or public validation. That only for you, not for any other purpose. And clean your digital footprint. Audit your past posts to ensure your digital footprint reflects your actual growth, not a desperate plea for attention. Think about that. If I look at your profile page on Instagram, what picture do you have up there, Connor?
I have a cute like baby monkey sticking his tongue out.
Right. If someone was to go look at your page, you don't have any posts or anything. So that's good.
Yeah.
You know, you don't repost stuff.
Well, I do.
You do? Okay. Well,
some stuff.
Because they can see what you repost.
Well, yeah.
All right.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
Yeah. So you
only friends though.
Yeah, you want to be really careful about that, right? Because you also have friends that will betray you and they'll give access to people
It's
to see it. So, you know, but you don't do anything wrong. That's not the point.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, reposting reels that I see, not anything else.
Right. But it tells people what you are. Because I will post stupid stuff.
Well, that's posting. That's different than reposting.
You know, that reminds me, I did not play the video for you. I was going to show you today. I sent to everybody.
What video?
You know Key and Peele?
Yeah.
Who's the tall bald guy? Is it Key?
Key.
All right.
I'm joking. I don't know.
I think so.
I've got the names.
Go ahead. Let me pause. Push pause. Yeah, and look at Key and Key, where he talks about make friends and have a good circle of support that puts you outside your comfort zone. Learn how to do production, learn how to do filming, learn how to do everything. Not just the one thing you're trying to do. And build a community with everyone around you. And that's what I feel like we're doing at stream915.com. I think we're building that community, and I'm looking forward to working with them. And I forwarded to the group chat, and everyone's like, wow, that really is us. You know, it's happening. Today, when I was at the show, at the studio, I should say, I interviewed someone, and I was like, not interviewed, but I talked to someone about hiring us. And I told him, I said, you know, we have a plan that is so much money. And it was a couple thousand, you know. And he looked at me and he's like, okay, yeah, that sounds good, you know. And people that were there at the studio were like, you just like, he might have a potential or not, you know. I'm not the business side of it. I didn't ask him, what's your budget? I said, here's what you need. And I wasn't giving him the highest, you know. But I didn't go with the lowest either, because he needed more than what that package offered. And I told him, I said, I'm sorry, I don't really know the business end of it. I'm more of the talent. And I said it, I feel so stupid, dude, like so conceited. Like I wasn't trying to be conceited, but I'm not the business end of the side. I'm more of the talent side.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they don't need to know that.
No, but I was saying, I don't know the prices off the top of my head because I don't do business. I just do the talent stuff. I do the shows, I do the interviews, I do the voiceovers, I do the animations or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And I showed him my animations. He's like, wow, that's really cool, you know. And you know, but the point being is, when I said I'm the talent, it made me sound so conceited, and I hated how I felt. I did, dude. It was really crazy, you know. But I think that it's okay to brag every now and then. Don't you agree?
Once in a while, I'll say.
Yeah. You know, I used to brag a lot. And I still talk about myself a lot. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. But
yeah.
am I always bragging about myself?
Yeah.
Because I talk about my favorite subject, and that is?
Oh, no, podcasting?
No, me.
Oh, okay.
The thing is, I'm my own cheerleader, because no one's gonna cheerlead for me, or cheer for me, I should say. And Connor, no one cheers you more than I do. I talk about all the good things you do. You're an amazing person. Okay, you have so much going on for you, and you're so humble you don't even realize it.
No, I know I'm humble sometimes.
Oh, yeah, I'm saying, but how awesome you are. You don't like to talk about that.
No.
You know, so And that's okay. You're humble. I'm not. I'm proud of what I did. You're proud of what you did. You just don't brag about it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'll tell you what, right now, we covered the heat map, giving you those actionable steps you could take. And after the break, we're going to talk about those pitfalls where you're going to get burned and the heat shows that will help you prevent getting burned. So we'll be right back.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
Staring out this hotel window, many floors above. What's missing down there is love. Thinking through the smoke that fills my mind. Don't worry, it's not my first time. Adios, amigo. I'm so glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. They say it's all inside, heaven and hell. What happened to that angel when he fell? Give it just one try. Tell me you don't like it. Be God for a moment and don't despise it. Adios, amigo. I'm so glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. Step outside and breathe. Play a little in the street. Hope it's not me they're sending. Move on from over there. Give the kids a little scare. Oh, these fences, they need mending. Adios, amigo. I'm so glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. Adios, amigo. I'm so glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town.
Before we jump back in, a quick reminder of where to find us. For all the short clips and highlights, Make sure you're following us on social media. You can find all the show details on our website, purehottakes.com. And for full show replays and exclusive premium content you won't hear anywhere else, be sure to subscribe at stream915.com.
All right. If you're here, thanks for sticking around. Welcome back, you guys. We talked about the actionable steps in the heat map, and I want to talk about where you're going to get burned. So these are your common mistakes, your pitfalls, where you're going to misstep a little bit and maybe need to do a little more. All right, so let's talk about where you get burned in our next segment. Don't let the algorithm burn your ambition, Connor. The overnight illusion is forgetting that most overnight successes took 10 years of invisible, unposted work. Validation chasing, letting a lack of lies convince you that your hard work doesn't have value. And stage reality, mistaking a professional curated photo shoot for someone's actual everyday lifestyle. So let's talk about those, Connor. Okay. Mm-hmm. I've done stand-up comedy, and I started when you were 8 months old. Exactly 8 months old.
Exactly 8 months.
Yeah, because that's how my first joke started. Remember?
Oh, yes. I remember.
Can you say the joke?
No, it's funny when you do it since you were there.
All right, so I said I'm older and I'm the father of an 8-month-old kid, and I remember the first time I held him in my arms. I looked down at him, looked him in the eyes, and said, "Damn, I should have worn a condom."
Yeah.
Connor hates that joke. It's not that I didn't want to be a dad. We weren't trying not to be dads or parents. We weren't trying to be parents. It just happens. Okay.
Dads.
Yeah. The uncles. But that first joke is, not what I'm known for. I'm known for my final joke, and I won't say that here.
Please don't.
But I did a lot of stand-up comedy for maybe a year to 2 years, and I could have gone and tried to tour a little bit because there was people that wanted me to do that. They wanted me to go like to Ruidoso and do a show at the casino and that kind of stuff. But I couldn't because of my job. I didn't have the capability to just not take a day off because I would have to do a lot. And there's people out there that started with me 18 years ago that are still doing it. And they're doing shows now. They're featuring at comic strips, meaning they're the main show. That's really cool. And I know if I had stuck to it, I probably would have been there at some point.
I was gonna say, with this job now that you have, the podcast.
Oh, don't put the idea in my head, Connor. I know I work from home and I could do that. Right?
I was gonna say, would you, if you go back to comedy, if you had the chance to go talk to your friends again and try to get back into it, and then you get some fame from it, would you not fame, but like back popularity on how you were last, like in your prime? Would you want to do a tour?
I would.
You would?
Yeah. Because I work from home now, dude. I could do it a lot easier.
Yeah.
God, don't put ideas in my head, dude. We don't want to do that. All right. But again, I told you 18 years they've been doing it. And they were doing it before I got there.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
From when I was a kid till now.
Well, yeah, but they were doing it before that. So I said 18 years.
They're still doing it my whole life.
Yeah. And there was a comedian, the first night I did the show, Sean Scarborough, we call him S3, may he rest in peace. Sean was like, "You're funny." He says, "You can go places." And he actually opened for Sinbad, when he came to El Paso.
What's Sinbad?
Oh, Sinbad's a major comedian that is not around right now. He has a lot of health issues. But anyway, when he tells me, you have a lot of potential. And he says, but you can't be dirty. You got to be cleaner.
Cleaner.
So guess what, Connor? I'm not doing comedy anymore because I couldn't do it.
That's the reason.
That's the reason.
Because you couldn't be clean.
That and I couldn't tour. I wasn't just going to do stuff around here for free. I had to get paid at some point.
Yeah.
You know, but that overnight illusion, it's not overnight. It's years and years and years of practice. If you ever watch The Sharp Point with Shannon Sharp, an interview like where he does Cat Williams, or he interviewed okay, but who's the Wayans brother that is in White Chicks? Marlon.
I was gonna say both of them are White Chicks.
Right, but what? Yeah, but what are the names?
Marlon Wayans and Sean Wayans. Was he in Little Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Marlon Wayans.
That's Marlon. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, in a podcast, Shannon Sharp's interviewing Marlon Wayans, and he's talking about the shows that he made, like White Chicks or Scream. Not Scream, Scary Movie.
Yeah.
But he talks about other movies he made. And I realized he had been around a long time before Living Color, which is like the Saturday Night Live of their day.
Mm.
And in Living Color had Jim Carrey on it, had Damon Wayans. The Wayans brothers started the show. It was a bunch of Wayans involved in it. Okay. But before that, they actually, to get their own show, they had to work hard as a family, dude, because they all became famous. It wasn't just one person that became famous and then they went. You know, but one of the other things I like when you talk about family is Charlie Murphy. Do you know who he is? Charlie Murphy is Eddie Murphy's brother.
Oh, I didn't know he had a brother.
Yeah. The reason he's famous is Chappelle and him are really good friends, and Chappelle has told him stories. And he's told Chappelle stories about Prince. Have you ever heard Chappelle talk about Prince in basketball?
Never.
He talks about Prince coming home after a concert, and they're all hanging out there, and he's like, y'all want to play some ball? And he goes and puts on like tennis shoes and still wearing his purple velvet outfit and stuff, playing basketball. You know, stuff like that. But Charlie Murphy was there. You know, he was involved with these people. You know, he didn't try to become famous, but he, you know, it wasn't like his brother and him worked together. The Wayans brothers, they all continue to work together. That's what I love about that family. But their success was not overnight. Okay. Mm-hmm. And another one is validation chasing. We talked about like chasing likes. Do we chase likes?
No.
I do. I want to see.
No, you chase views, not likes.
Oh, true. Well, same thing in my. I know there's a big difference
because not everybody likes.
I know it's a big difference. I just
if people see it, that's all you care about.
Yeah, that's all I care about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to know how many people are seeing it for how long. You know, and 20,000 to 30,000 views a month is not too bad. You know, I told you we're monetized on TikTok now.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, 7 cents. Remember?
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought YouTube we were monetized.
No. But yeah, and the thing is, it's just what we're doing. We're not trying to be this famous person that's doing. We're just having fun with it, And stage reality. Like I said, when I asked you earlier about your highlight reel, if I were to play that highlight reel for you today, how proud would you be of it? Would you brag about it?
I wouldn't brag. I mean, I'd mention it, but I wouldn't be like, "Oh yeah, I'm all that."
I'll do it for you, right? Yeah.
Besides, we don't even have any videos. Like, if I had videos, I would love to see them.
You have your fumble recovery and sack.
I'm at flag football.
Oh,
that's why I mostly did everything.
Yeah, that would have been an amazing game to have recorded.
Amazing highlight reel.
But don't let fame get to your head, right? That's not what we're trying to do here. Be the best you can be. Sometimes the best you can be is not the best that anyone can be. I'll give you an example. If you ever talk to your parents, well, when I'm older, right? You're going to ask yourself, and don't answer this, did I do a good job? Because when you have kids, you're going to ask yourself, as a parent, did I do a good job? Right? I told you that joke I heard. the helicopter dad joke.
Yeah.
Man, I am such an amazing helicopter dad. I'm like the Apache of the helicopter dads. Remember? I saw that on TV. I thought that was so funny. But, we all question ourselves. And I remember with my mom, who I did not get along with and I did not like too much or anything. Before she passed, we had a long conversation, like, 4 hours long. And she tells me, I did the best I could with you. And I said, I know. I could have said you could have done better. But then the next sentence she says told me a lot. She said, you didn't need me as much as your brothers did. And
that's still not an excuse, though.
No, but it made me feel good. It made me feel good. I joined the army when I was 17 years old, got away from home as fast as I could.
Yeah.
Right. But looking at ourselves as parents, we ask ourselves, did I do the best I could? Well, obviously, I don't think I could have tried any harder to be a better dad to you. Do you think I could have? I mean, yes, you can say yes or no.
Nah.
I think I did a pretty good job. Issues, of course, no one's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But, I can say, I think I did a pretty good job. It was funny because when you were growing up and I was teaching sign language and I was being all hard with you as a little kid and all that stuff, right? People were like, you're so mean to your kid and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hit me up in 18 years and let me know how he does. Where you are, right? In life and everything. You're doing good. Could we do better? Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I ask you, are you doing the best you can right now?
No.
You could do more, right?
Yeah.
Ask yourself that every now and then in every aspect of your life. Can I do better? And at the same time, realize you could also be doing worse. All right.
Sure.
I'll tell you what, these are some of the pitfalls of, comparing yourself to other people. So I think we need to talk about some heat shields that will protect us so we don't get burned. Armor up against the pressure to perform. The 60-minute rule. No social media for the first hour of the day to protect your mental baseline. What do you think about that, Connor? No social media for 1 hour. So you can get up and have a good start of the day.
I mean, I agree with it.
With the stuff that's going on in the news right now, I'm not going to talk about any of that. But you wake up in the morning, you hear the news, and you're like, what? Real? What? Or, it's not good. A lot of stuff is not good. So that break, I think, is really important. And the mute strategy, using the platform tools to aggressively filter out content that disrupts your peace. There are certain people that I have blocked in my content filter. Certain businesses that I blocked. Certain topics. Okay.
Never knew that.
Because I don't need to be hearing it. And one in particular is this AI called Content 360. They're all over the place, right? And is buy one social media, blah. I'm not saying it doesn't work, okay, because it does work, but I bought it and it wasn't working for me. Literally, I couldn't get it to function for 2 weeks. They gave me my money back. But they're out there promoting it like hardcore. And I'm like, this is not worth it. I found some other stuff that was better in my opinion. But it would have been nice had it worked, right? But I blocked them. I blocked the owner because I was actually talking to the owner. Like, seriously. I chat with him a little bit about all this. And anytime I see his stuff, I just put don't. That's all I put on. My comment is don't, And gratitude stacking is the next thing. Actively listening 3 things that you have now that you once only dreamed of to kill envy. Right?
Yeah.
What are 3 things that you now have that you only dreamed of when you were younger?
Mm,
You're still young, so I mean,
I don't know. I gotta be like 30s or something.
okay. So let's talk about what you're dreaming of. A Corvette.
Yeah.
What else? A nice house.
Yeah. I would say a nice job and house.
A nice job and house. Okay, and the family.
Maybe, but not right now.
You don't see yourself having a family right now.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, when I first got married, the way it was for me was buy a house, buy a car, buy furniture. No, I'm sorry. Buy a house, buy furniture, buy a car, buy a computer. Because back then, you know, they were expensive. They still are.
Yeah.
But dropping $1,200 on a computer nowadays isn't so unrealistic. I dropped $1,800 back in the 90s, and it was like the top of the line computer. It lasted me years and years and years and years.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was a HP 8160. Anyway, then we moved from Colorado to here, and we started again. Bought the house, got the furniture, got the car, got the computer. Then I got divorced, or out of the army, and then I got divorced and started all over again. Bought the house, bought the furniture, bought the car, and then
what jobs did you have, or what?
I was in the army, and then when I moved here, I was a counselor and social worker, and then now I'm a teacher. You know, but I'm saying there's certain things I always dreamed of, and I've had them. Like my cars. I had one wrecked. I had the houses lost in the marriage, divorce, I should say. You know, starting over again. You know, I've talked about how bad we've had it since your mom passed. And we're not there anymore. Okay. Now we're looking at the future, right? Things we want. And we're getting there. All right. But with those tips in hand, you know, I think it's time to put them to use. And when we come back from break, we're going to talk about the afterburn and those questions you can ask yourself. We'll be right back.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Wonder what was going on inside the man in black's mind. Was he missing June? Was he thinking back when that picture was snapped? Was he wishing he could hold her? Did he know his life was over? The day that camera flashed the last picture of Johnny Cash. The lines of life there on his face show hard living and show grace. A story told in shades of black. Was he whispering a prayer through that cold and lonesome glare? The day the camera flashed the last picture of Johnny Cash.
Somewhere on the other side, the day that came
it's mine. Day old Marty Flash, last picture of Johnny Cash.
Before we get back to the show, remember that Hot Takes with the Murph Man is partnered with Stream915.com, the place for premium content you won't find in the live podcast or on socials. Visit purehottakes.com to connect on socials and unlock your discount link to Stream915.com. Welcome back. We talked about those heat shields to prevent you from getting burned. Let's talk about our next segment called the Afterburn and the reflection on what we've learned today. Whose life are you actually trying to live, yours or the one you see on the screen? What would you work toward today if you weren't allowed to post about it? Think about that. And what is one thing you've achieved this week that deserves a celebration regardless of the likes? So let's go with the first one, Connor. Whose life are you actually trying to live, yours or the one you see on the screen or around your friends?
The one I try seeing on the screen because they have the life I want.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not doing the same, like, not trying to say that I want to do what they did to get there, but I want to be their same status, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're not letting that run your life.
Yeah.
Because if you really wanted to be there, you'd be doing other things a lot harder. Right?
Yeah.
And what would you work toward today if you weren't allowed to post about it? Meaning if you couldn't brag for it, what would you want to do?
No, I couldn't brag for
Yeah.
it. What does that mean?
Like, I want to own a house that's $500,000. Or I want to own a home that's $1 million. Right? I have a friend of mine who retired when he became a millionaire. His goal was to have $1 million saved in retirement funds and investments and whatever. All right. And he says, if I can get to $1 million, I'm retiring. That's my goal. But he never posted on social media. He would tell me about it because he told me one time, I said, because he had been a counselor for a long time. I'm like, hey, when do you want to retire? And he told me, he goes, I'm going to share something with you. He says, when I become a millionaire. Once I can save $1 million in savings and investments, I'm going to retire. Never, ever saw him say anything about that on social media, ever. Then one day, he tells me, guess what? I'm retiring. And I said, well, let me shake the hand of a millionaire because I'm not going to do this ever again. Right? But he was very humble about it. Okay. And those who were close to him knew more details than I even did, right?
Yeah.
But he had a goal that he didn't share with anybody. And that thing that's really cool. That's humbleness for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I had another guy who I worked with as a counselor, and he drove a Hyundai Sonata, right?
Okay.
And one day he asked if we'd be interested in opening up a daycare with him. His wife was a doctor, and he says, we're thinking about opening up a clinic and we need a daycare in it. That's where I got the idea for the working. He says, come to my house and we'll have dinner. So Tony and I went up, or Anthony and I went up to his house, and he lived in a gated community. His house was probably worth over $1 million. Okay. This guy worked helping people in the poorest parts of town as a counselor and had his own business as a construction worker or a construction company. He built houses on the west side. He built a community. His profit from that was $1 million.
Oh, wow.
So Anthony and I were driving up and we're getting out of the car and we're like, dude, this has got to be a partner's house or something that wants to do the business. And, he led us into his life by saying that. And I was like, holy cow, this guy has money. And I was like, I didn't expect this from him. Talk about humble. He was a very humble guy. Okay. And I was like, wow, that's cool. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how he ran businesses, but I can tell you right now, I didn't want to go into business with him.
Why?
They had a restaurant bar that they opened up, and I would go there a lot, support his bar. I used to drink a lot more, remember?
Yeah.
And the way he treated the workers, the way he ran his business, and I'll give you an example. I had a scheduled lunch, and the business wasn't doing too well. I had a scheduled lunch, and they decided to only open for dinner. So all my people show up for lunch, and they're not even open. Not even a word, to his good friend, his coworker, he couldn't even tell me this. I told him, I said, this is how you run business. I will never go into business with you. I don't care how successful you are. That's not who I am. Mm-hmm. Great guy, but I wouldn't want to work with him as a partner.
Yeah.
Would I love to have the life he had?
Yeah.
His house, dude, had a pool in the living room.
Living room?
Yeah, like you walk in, there's a freaking pool. Yeah. It was an amazing house.
Oh, God.
He had that kind of money, right?
Yeah.
Real humble. Loved the guy, though. He's an amazing guy. Loved his wife, But also ask yourself this, what have you done this week that you can be proud of? What, aside from the things that you don't brag about, what could you brag about that you'd be happy to share with somebody?
I don't know. Nothing really happens like that in my life as much.
Okay.
Or it just really never happens.
Maybe you got a good score on a test or something, I don't know, but maybe not. But, the thing is, I want you to take that time to reflect on what, you had to do. All right. Now, the next segment we cover is called the Digital Inferno. Here we talk about how technology can help you. So stay tuned and let's hear about the Digital Inferno. All right, so retrain the machine to work for you. Content curation. Use not interested buttons and mute features to retrain your algorithm for education, not envy. Again, content filters, saying no to things, saying not interested, and you'll eventually have a better algorithm. Time out on your apps. Lock yourself out of comparison-heavy apps during your most productive hours, such as the digital well-being or do not disturb. Okay. And focus profiles. Use phone focus modes to hide social apps entirely during the day, ensuring your digital footprint is built on work and not scrolling. If I ask you, how many hours of phone use do you have a day? It's hours and hours and hours. And I've told you this, right? Mm-hmm. Last night, did we go to the restaurant yesterday with the Chinese food?
Mm-hmm.
That was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
I told you, please put your phone away. Let's talk, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How hard was it?
Not hard.
You were on your phone a lot.
Well, it's because I got a vibration and I just
Well,
just a few looks, but I didn't really stay on it.
Yeah, but you would look and reply.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it texted me for a reason.
Live your life in the moment. Don't be a digital monster. Okay. You're letting that digital monster run your life. Use those apps to block certain times. There's what I think of when I think about this is you have people who spend too much money they use their credit cards for everything,
Mhm.
right? Have you ever heard about freezing your credit cards?
Yeah.
Why would you not? Well, not time out. I don't mean freeze like online if you lose it.
Oh,
I meant freezing, like put them in the freezer.
why would you do that?
Okay. So you get a cup, you put your credit card in it, right? Or credit cards, and you let it freeze. You fill it with water and you let it freeze. So when it comes time for that impulse buy, like, I think I'm going to buy me some roller skates.
You have to wait till it melts. But
Yes.
doesn't it hurt the chip and all that?
This is before chips, so I don't know if it does or not, right?
Oh.
That's not the point of the story.
Well, I mean, okay.
It's going to rust the chip. I know. Shut up. You get the point. You get the point.
Well, I had to make sure. 'cause
Dumbass, man.
all the cards I have chip on them. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
they do. You know,
you can say like a Monster, like an energy drink or something. Like you freeze it and then you have to wait till it melts. And
yeah.
then you can drink it. Or like when a candle burns out.
Okay. All right.
I've seen those TikToks. Sorry. I'm like, that's where I get the idea from.
But yeah, so, freeze yourself out of the apps that are causing you trouble. And, don't have your phone with you at work, at school. Keep it in your backpack until you're done with class. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Look around when you're at a restaurant. How many people are on their phones and not communicating, not talking? Right?
A few. It depends where.
Yeah.
But like that was a fancy restaurant, so I mean, obviously no one's gonna be on the phone.
Hold on, time out. It wasn't fancy. It
No,
looked fancy.
That's why, like,
Okay.
I mean, it was a fancy restaurant.
Okay, I'm not saying it wasn't, but it's not like we went to an expensive fancy restaurant.
I'm not saying expensive. I never said
Okay.
expensive. I'm
It
just
was
saying
fancier
fancy.
than your average Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, the whole interaction started off on a bad foot. Do you remember?
I remember.
If you look at me, here, Connor, put the camera on me real quick.
All right. I'm gonna show them the close up.
No, shut up.
Yes, just so they can see this. I'm joking. I'll do this.
Oh, I'm looking at this camera.
Oh, well then.
Okay. Look at me. Do I look Hispanic or Mexican?
No.
No,
You
right?
look like Santa Claus.
Look like Santa Claus. Santa Claus, the vato with the bony knees. Anyway, that's a Cheech and Chong Christmas story. If you don't know what that is,
I've heard of it.
But if I told you Spanish was my first language,
I would not believe you.
you would not believe me, right?
No.
If I told you that I feel more Mexican than I do American a lot of times, what I mean by that is the way I was brought up, the way I have my experiences, they're more Mexican than American. Right?
Yeah.
Let's come back to both of us here.
Okay.
You did not want to learn Spanish. Although you know some, but you don't really know.
Yeah.
How many Latino women have you dated that their parents speak only Spanish?
A few.
Okay.
Not a lot, but a
But
few.
it was a barrier in that relationship. Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
at the same time, I wouldn't talk to the parents at all because I never go to the house.
well, okay. But your first girlfriend, when the father wanted to meet you, didn't speak any English. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was really awkward on top of everything else. So he wanted to meet you and he didn't speak English.
Yeah, and it was freshman year, first girlfriend. I was terrified.
Okay.
Coming out of COVID, I was terrified.
That's all part of being Mexican. When I married my first wife, my mom and who went with her? She took someone else with her to go talk to the girl's parents and ask for her hand in marriage.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
My mom
Uh-huh.
and another person, I can't remember who she took, went to my girlfriend's house to talk to her parents and get permission from them so that we could get married because we were 19.
And your mom went with someone
Yeah.
to your girlfriend's house.
Yeah.
To talk to their parents.
Yeah.
And ask for
Her hand in marriage. Yeah. Okay. You're looking at me like that's stupid, but
it is.
listen to me, Connor. Look at me. Look at me. Put the camera on you. I want to see your reaction to this.
No.
If you're going to marry a Mexican woman, you better ask her family first. Okay?
I mean, yeah.
You know, I didn't do that with your mom because I didn't talk to her sister that way.
Yeah.
But I wish I had, you know, but I didn't need to. You know, your mom was very traditional in that way. I probably should have, looking back on that, you know. But yeah, you need to get permission from the family.
Always.
Approval, not permission. Let me rephrase that.
Maybe
approval.
Permission, yes.
Yeah, but approval. You need it approved. Not I can do whatever I want.
I mean, yeah, but
I'd like
if
your
it's
blessing.
okay with the blessings. Yeah.
So your approval more than permission. But you know, I think of myself as more Hispanic, more Mexican. So anyway, going back to this restaurant situation. So yesterday, I asked the waiter, "Hey, it's our first time here. How, you know, can we ask you a question about the menu?" And he goes, "One moment." And he turns to some guy and goes, "Hey," in Spanish, right? "Can you come over here and take the order? Because I don't understand a damn thing he's saying." And then I turned to him and in Spanish, I said, "You didn't even give me a chance to talk to you." And he was like, "What? You speak Spanish?" I'm like, "Yeah." The rest of the interactions were a little awkward, right?
Yeah.
The other guy who took our order and answered our questions, because you don't speak Spanish, he was talking to you. I know he said something to the guy, like, you can't be doing that, you know? But, hey.
The manager did, yeah.
Yeah, you never know when we're around people that speak foreign languages. So just be careful with that, okay? I'll tell you what, Connor. Before we go to the final burn, I think we should take one last break. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Sounds good to me.
All right.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. Of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana to the golden coast of California. Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop. And his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's the light. Mr. Red, White, stars and stripes. Red, white, and blue, stand on the front line. Red, white, and blue, pay the ultimate price. Oh. what you like. Hey. Hey.
Focus is your legacy. The only person you should try to beat is the version of you that woke up yesterday. All right? Every day you get a little better. And before you know it, you'll be really good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can't win a race if you're looking at someone else's lane. We've talked about this. Stay in your lane, right? You don't want to crash in your own lane.
Mm-hmm.
But the final take from today's discussion is you're the only person you should be trying to beat. Be 1% better than you were yesterday. Just 1%. One thing different. Just one thing better to make you a better person. Every day do something good. You know, and whatever that happens to be, you'll become better. If it means putting in more time to study, more time to work out, more time with your family, more time with your friends, more time with your girl, whatever the case may be, right? 1%. Just a little bit better. I don't think that's too much to ask. What do you think, Hunter?
No.
You know, every day I try to do something better for myself. And it's paying off. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So think about that. And I'll tell you what, I think that's it for today's show.
I think so too.
You know, I hope everyone enjoyed it. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Adios.
That's a wrap on this episode. If you're looking for more, you can find all the best clips from the show on our social media pages. For all the links and more information about what we talked about today, visit purehottakes.com. And if you want to watch the full replay or get access to our premium content, subscribe now at stream915.com. We appreciate you tuning in.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.